What's up, guys? Sam here, and I'll be doing the free video for Friday, November 22nd, 2024. So I just finished making the premium video for the folks in the central room, and we did what we always do on a Friday, is look at the top-down perspective of markets. So we start with the SPY, the QQQ, we went to the IWM, we looked at bonds, we looked at volatility through the VIX and the VVIX, and we try to put all those pieces together. And in general, I think it was just a bullish point of view going into next week. Most things, I could not find one thing that was heavily sided towards the bears. Out of those 5 things that we just talked about, the indexes, interest rates, volatility, and etc., I was not able to find one thing that helped the bears. That is not even counting the fact that next week has a bullish seasonality as well. So there was that. Now, with the indexes, normally I would talk to you guys about the indexes a little bit more here in these free videos, but I actually didn't see anything all that interesting. They're bullish. They're not wildly bullish. Everything skews more bullish than not. I would say that if I had to put a probability set for next week on whether it's bullish or bearish, I would say the probabilities that it's a bullish week is probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 75%, based on what we've seen in the premium video today, barring something crazy happening. But by and large, if nothing crazy happens over the weekend or next week, the bulls definitely have the technical edge. So what could I bring you here that's a little bit more interesting than just a kind of a generic bullish kind of setup on the indexes? I wanted to bring you a couple setups here that I think are pretty interesting. So they're all 3 going to be in the same sector, which is somewhat rare, but they're all in XLY, the consumer discretionary sector. The first one's going to be Starbucks here. And Starbucks has been in a consolidation range for quite some time, and it looks to be breaking out of it, right? So on the daily chart, you have a very, very large daily squeeze, and you have all kinds of thrust signals and bull trends starting to kick off. So this looks like a giant kind of basing pattern to me before it wants to launch. Not only do you have this very large daily squeeze, which I've circled, but you have squeezes all the way up to a 3-day squeeze. So this is the type of setup that could last pretty much until the end of the year. So on Starbucks here, I would be a buyer of pullbacks. I'm already in it. I got in because one of the traders in the room sent it out as a trade, and I decided to follow along because I like the idea. So I'm already in the $100 calls for January, and I would honestly look to add more to that on pullbacks. So any pullbacks here in Starbucks, I think, are going to be an opportunity to potentially add more. Another one that I was looking at was Home Depot. And Home Depot here, I think, is kind of in range for a breakout coming up. Very strong looking chart. It has a 4-hour squeeze. And the target on this one is going to be would be right around, ooh, that's a big one. That's a big one. We'll see if I can hit it. That is an ambitious target, but the Fibonacci proportion would say that the target is right around 463. Now, of course, it won't happen overnight, but if it's able to break out of this pattern here, it certainly sets it up for that type of movement. So I like the Home Depot there, and I also like the fact that it's an XLY, so it plays well with the idea around Starbucks as well. And then lastly is going to be old reliable here, Tesla. And Tesla might just be kind of a short-term thing for next week. There's a lot of intraday squeezes on it. Again, Henry, one of the traders here, also sent out a trade on this, and I followed along with it, and I generally like it. So to me, Tesla looks like it's been kind of flagging away from this 3 ATR. It now has a little bit of room to push, and I have it with a 4-hour squeeze breaking out of a consolidation base. So the target on this one would be somewhere in the neighborhood of 360. Now, of course, 360 doesn't seem like a lot for Tesla, but let's see what it can do into next week, because at least the target that I would have on it is 360. So I wanted to bring you just 3 picks there that are all kind of part of one basket, which is the XLY basket. I also want to point out that in XLF, a lot of things were popping up on my scans today. I was looking at Citigroup. Yesterday I was trading US Bank Corp, which is a regional bank. And if we're looking for the strongest trends, this is actually where they are right now. To me, this looks a little extended on the weekly. It's hitting 3 ATR, but we've seen really strong trends just trend in this market. And so I think that, and especially because so many scans that I ran today in the room resulted in financials. So I was getting scan results for Goldman and Citi and BlackRock and quite a few other ones. So when you run a bull scan and so many of the results are in financials, of course you could try to pick the best one, or you could just shortcut it with XLF. And in general, I like the idea. So I kind of want to just add that one as a kicker because it's not in the consumer discretionary sector, but it has one of the better setups to start next week. All right, guys. Well, that is my time. We'll be back next Friday, and we'll see how all this stuff played out. And I'll see you guys then. Cheers.
Hey traders, this is Sam with Simpler Trading. I want to thank you for watching today's video. Hopefully you found the information in it helpful. If you did, leave us a like, leave us a comment. It really does help us out with the algorithm. And if you want to see us trade live with our own real money and be part of the community, come and check us out at simplertrading.com.